Hey everyone. Hi, how are you? I'm DS. You might know me from such features as 10-7 MMA, the weekly breakdown, and so on. Guess what? It's UFC 300. And guess what? It's coming up this fucking weekend. All right? It's finally here. After all these bullshit ass cards we've dealt with, I've got your best bets coming up. Stick around. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy DS. And before I get into this massive card, and of course, what are you here for? You're here for the betting. You want the best bets of the weekend, if I will, if I may, rather. Let me just let y'all know. If you don't already, please at least hit that like button. Maybe hit the subscribe button if you feel so inclined. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at the 10-7 MMA. We've got some cute pictures with a lot of the fighters that are on this weekend's card. And, just want to say, Jiri does follow us. And he should be on the main card, which is something we don't have to get into right now. But I'm here. I'm not. I was going to say I'm queer. I'm not queer. But respect to everybody that is. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm here to give you the best bets of UFC 300. And there's a fucking lot of fights on the docket. And listen, I feel like I've gotten a little bit more risky in this particular card, okay? I think I'm a little bit more biased in this particular card. So do with that information what you will. But I'm going to try to keep it safe for you guys. And I'm going to go through each and every fight on the card from a betting perspective. And let's dive right the fuck into it. Starting with the opener of Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Cody Garbrandt. We've got Deiveson Figueiredo at a minus 305. He's taking on Garbrandt at a plus 245. If you saw the full breakdown video, Dino Bam Bam is a guy in the camp of Cody Garbrandt. Even though, wait, was it? I don't remember if he was. But anyway, I feel like he was. Or am I tripping? Anyway, Deiveson Figueiredo is his guy. I feel like he should have picked his guy if he didn't. Maybe pick Cody Garbrandt. If he did pick Cody Garbrandt, that's fucking weird. But anyway, some people are expecting this to be a close fight. I don't love this for Cody Garbrandt. He did pick Figgy. Okay. Wow. Why? why did I think that you picked Garbrandt? I don't know. I'm tripping. Anyway, I'm going with Figgy too here, and I do feel comfortable betting this minus 305. I don't love the line. I wish the line was a little bit lower. I wish it was a little bit closer to a pick'em. Solely for the fact that Cody Garbrandt, I think, isn't like a terrible matchup for Deiveson Figueiredo. He's got super fast hands. He's got decent enough power. For me, though, I just can't trust that chin. So I am going to go with Figueiredo here. And I feel pretty comfortable taking him at the minus 305. I don't trust the chin of Cody Garbrandt, even with the speed. And is he the more technical striker? Probably. But I just don't trust that chin. And Deiveson Figueiredo has the power advantage. So I'm going to go with Figueiredo, or as Dino Bam Bam would say, Figueiredo. Moving on to the next fight of the night, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, this every single fight on this card is fucking wild. But I'm talking about Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. If you saw the breakdown video, originally I did go with Bobby Green. I have since switched my pick. And as we say around these parts, let the record show. I hit Dino Bam Bam with a let the record show. And I did switch my pick to Jim Miller. I just don't trust Bobby Green coming off a big knockout not that long ago. And Jim Miller has won at every single 100, 200, 300, and hopefully 300 card that he's been on. And I'd like to root for him. So maybe there's a little bit of emotion in there. But I'm going to go with Jim Miller here. I'm not going to bet it, though. I just think it's going to be too close. I absolutely could see a world where there's Bobby Green just piecing him up on the feet. Not as much power. And yes, Bobby Green does keep his hands real low. But there's a world where I see him just piecing him up, moving around. Jim Miller just simply not being fast enough, having too many miles on his body. But, yeah, I want to see him win. I'm just not going to bet this one. Moving on to the next fight. I'm talking about the first women's fight of the night. It's Jessica Andrade taking on Marina Rodriguez. I was very close to betting Jessica Andrade here. It's just too close. Jessica Andrade, minus 142. Marina, it's damn near a pick'em. It's just, I do expect Jessica Andrade to win. Her record recently hasn't been the best, though. So there's some built-in risk there, right? Both of these women, we talk about some of the breakdown video. They've both kind of had similar fall-offs. I just trust the power on Andrade more. I expect him to stay on the feet. And, yeah, I just expect her to be the more aggressive fighter. It's a women's fight. The odds are close. The skill level is close. And they're both coming off, like, weird periods of their career. I can't possibly bet this fight. Moving on. Next fight of the night. We've got Jalin Turner taking on Renato Moicano. Renato Money Moicano. By the way, if you guys haven't watched the press conference, do yourself a favor and do that. It was one hell of a press conference. I just think Jalin Turner's too big, too strong. It's tough to take a 6'3" guy down. Renato Moicano isn't like a huge wrestling specialist. If it gets to the ground, I think Jalin Turner can handle himself. And on the feet, I think there's levels to this shit. I am going to go with the money line Jalin Turner at minus 238. Confidence level, 7.5 out of 10, right? So I'm not super duper confident. I think I know for a fact on this one, Dino Bam Bam did pick Renato Moicano. Did you? Did you pick? Let me know and write me some shit down below while I look for the next fight. Give him a second, ladies and gents. No, Turner. He did say that. He did say Turner by knee knockout. He was very specific about it. I'm sorry, that just got my ass rolling. Yeah, so clearly you got two handsome Dinos, both agreeing on Jalin Turner there. Let's move on. I don't know why I thought that shit, but that cracked me the fuck up. Moving on to the next fight of the night. We're talking about Sodiq Yusuff taking on Diego Lopes. And this is a tight one, man. I'm not going to be betting this one. I'm telling you right now. Sodiq Yusuff, in my opinion, he's the crisper striker. He's got a lot of power. For me, the fight breaks down like this. Diego Lopes has to survive the first round. And if he does, I think this fight is his. I picked him by sub. I'm just not going to bet this one. I just think it's too close. There are too many variables here. Diego Lopes has enough on the feet, but maybe not, right? And the first round is really the tell-all here. This might be a fight where if you see Diego Lopes losing that first round, maybe you throw some money on him at that point after he's an underdog. So, just saying. Moving on to the next fight. We're talking about Holly Holm, and she's taking on Kayla Harrison, coming through from the PFL. PFL legend, absolutely fucking jacked. I will say, I was very curious to see the weigh-ins and things like that, and the weigh-ins are tomorrow morning, based on when this video is being filmed. But overall, Kayla Harrison this week has looked pretty good, pretty healthy. So far, we'll see. She's not done cutting the last few pounds. Obviously, those are the toughest. But listen, man, I think the odds are way too wide here. Kayla Harrison, I know that she's done some things in the PFL. She's a legend. But weirdly close fight with Aspen Ladd. Lost her last fight. Coming down 20 pounds as a woman, too. That's a huge, huge part of this fight, in my opinion. I would sprinkle a little on Holly Holm if I'm going to do anything on this fight. But I'm certainly not throwing in any type of parlay. Yeah, give me Kayla Harrison to win it, but I'm not like crazy confident. I do think the rest will be the difference, but I don't love it. Again, I'm trying to be safe here. It's just not one I want to throw in this parlay or best bets area. So, moving on. Next fight of the night. We've got Calvin Kattar at 145 taking on Aljamain Sterling, who's not fought at 145 in the UFC. Obviously, we know he's a legend, though. Aljamain Sterling coming in at minus 175. Calvin Kattar bet $100 to get 145 back. This is one where it's just too close to call, man. I'm telling you right now, I can see both sides. Calvin Kattar, crazy takedown defense. Aljo coming off a knockout, not like up cold or anything, so I don't put a ton of weight on it. But Calvin Kattar, premier boxer in the division. Aljo moving up a weight class, his striking is questionable in my opinion. I could see either one going. The odds are pretty close. If you watch the breakdown video, I did pick Calvin Kattar, but I've gone back and forth on this fight. I just can't in my right mind bet it. So, moving on. Next fight of the night, we've got Jiri Prochazka, and again, this is where the last fight in this one, this is where Dino Bam Bam's cheeks are clenched, brother. Them things are just straight clenched. So if you know anything about him, he's shook right now. I'm talking about Jiri Prochazka. He's taking out Aleksandar Rakic. I got to go with Jiri here, man. And I know Dino Bam agrees with me, but I got to go with Jiri. Minus 105. They're ever so slight underdog. It's basically a pick 'em, but Rakic coming off almost 2 years off, has been a low output fighter. Jiri coming off a loss where, honestly, a lot of people expected him to win. It was a weird finish. I'm very confident about this one. I'm going to take him on the money line. I could see it going to decision. I could see a knockout. I got to go with Jiri, though. Money line for sure. No question on that one. Moving on. Next fight of the night. And the main card opener, which is, we don't have to talk about that right now, but I'm talking about Bo Nickal versus friend of the channel, Cody Brundage. If you haven't seen the interview yet, Bam Bam did a great interview with Cody Brundage a few days ago in the hype and move up to this fight. Listen, man, I love Cody Brundage. Good for him. I respect it. I want to see him win. I just don't see it. I'm glad the odds have swung drastically in the other way. Last time I checked, they were minus 2,500. We have written here minus 2,100. I'm now seeing minus 1,650 and plus 950 coming the other way. So the odds are moving in the right direction, in my opinion. I can't possibly bet the money line here. It doesn't make any sense to. But what I will bet and what I'm comfortable betting is the under. I'm taking the under 1.5 rounds here, minus 360 for the minus 360 for under 1.5 rounds. I respect Cody Brundage. I just still feel like Bo Nickal, like Cody Brundage is a wrestler at heart. Bo Nickal is a champion wrestler, much better in like his preferred art, right? His preferred MMA style, and also just more power and just like the mentality thing. Respect to Cody Brundage, but there have been times where it seems like, I don't want to say he quit, but like inconsistency, you know? And I've yet to see that from Bo Nickal. Say what you will about him. I'm taking the under. And if I was going to pick anybody, I'm picking Bo Nickal to win, but I can't possibly bet at these odds, even as they've gotten down. So, anyway, moving on to the next fight of the night. It's Charles Oliveira taking on Arman Tsarukyan. This is a tough one, guys. This is a goddamn tough fight overall. I just got to tell you, I'm coming from the heart. I'm taking Charles Oliveira, man. This is the first time, or one of the first times I've thrown an underdog in here. I'm taking him at the money line. You're never going to get Charles Oliveira, in my opinion, unless he's fighting Islam, at plus 185. These odds are kind of crazy to me. If it goes to the ground, Charles is better. Charles has way better jiu-jitsu. And on the feet, I expect Charles to have a decent advantage there too, to be honest with you. If there's an advantage for Arman, it's the pure wrestling. What's the end goal there? So I will gladly take Charles Oliveira at plus 185 here. Moving on. Moving on to the next fight of the night. We've got the BMF title. Now we're going on to the 3 title fights, if you want to call them that. This obviously is not really a real title, but it is a goddamn really good fight. We're talking about the BMF title fight. Justin Gaethje taking on Max Holloway, moving up to 155. What I really like is that he's bulked up, and he looks like he's done it the correct way here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw this in. I feel like it's a good bet. I feel like there's money to be made here, guys. Plus 135 for Max Holloway. Think back to who really has Justin Gaethje knocked out, and think back to how good Max Holloway's chin is, right? And think back to the Fiziev versus Gaethje fight. And whatever Fiziev can do in terms of striking and the pace that he puts on, it's Max Holloway, dude. It's Max Holloway. I'm going to take it, man. Again, the card is so big, you're going to get plus money on fighters that you never will again. I'm taking Max Holloway, plus 135 here. Moving on to the co-main event of the goddamn evening, and it's a real good fight. It's a real good fight. It's a women's fight, yes, but it's a real good fight. It's Zhang Weili taking on Yan Xiaonan. Weili's just better, man. She's just better. Even at minus 45 in a women's fight, on the feet, I expect Yan Xiaonan to do her thing. I just think this is going to be a super, super dominant decision. And if anybody gets the finish, it is going to be Weili. I'll take it. Even at minus 45, man. It's as simple as that. I will take this fight. And now, finally, we're at the main event of the evening, ladies and gents. And if you haven't yet, by the way, like and subscribe, please. Slap that little bell. That bitch gonna be like, something like that. Let that bitch sing. Anyway, main event of the evening. Alex Pereira taking on Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill's going to get this fucking fight done, man. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Probably don't put this in a parlay, right? Because on paper, Alex Pereira should be the better striker. There's no fucking chance this fight is going to the ground. If you haven't watched the press conference, watch that motherfucker. Like I told you earlier in this very video. Don't watch it now. Like, stick around for this right now. But I'm telling you, at some point, watch that motherfucker if you haven't. Jamahal Hill and Alex Pereira, they were jawing back and forth, different languages. The vibes were there, right? Jamahal Hill, the only concern I have is that he's coming off a very bad injury, Achilles tear, as any sort of explosive athlete, one of the worst injuries that you can have. But, fucking, again, plus money on Jamahal Hill, man. It's not safe. So for the sake of this video, I'm not going to make a determination. I'm going to say I'm not betting it. But for my degeneracy in my own heart, in my own home, I'm probably going to bet this shit. Plus 110 for Jamahal Hill, plus 125 according to the screen. I'll take that shit. I'll take plus money Jamahal Hill all day. Alex Pereira has been knocked out by Izzy, and Jamahal Hill is a goddamn warrior. He's the type of dude to rather get his arm snapped than tap. So, to me, I think that will make a difference. I think he's a little bit in his head too. But that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys. That's really all I have for you. You know, we were starting this as a parlay. Now it's more of a best bets kind of thing because don't come from my neck. Sometimes them bitches be hitting 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 8. If you want to parlay them, do it. I probably will. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that. It's going to be like plus 20,000 odds last time I checked. Couple $5-10. Nothing wrong with that. But anyway, best bets. I'm excited for this card. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. And let's enjoy the shit out of this card, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm DS. I'm out.